Hey guys, I'm back with another slamming video. Just kidding. Today, I want to talk about something that is really near and dear to my heart, and that is loneliness. I'm laughing. And that is loneliness. And I think something that I've been thinking about is, honestly, loneliness is a gift. Loneliness is truly a gift. And you know what? I might sound crazy for that. I actually don't even really fully agree with what I'm saying. Isn't that crazy? How people can be so you can be multi-layered like that? Just kidding. I actually don't like maybe it's not about agreeing, it's more so just like liking. I actually don't like that loneliness is a gift. I think something I've been thinking about has been how I just saw someone from my high school. I don't like that. I think something that I've been thinking wham, wham. I think if you can relate to that statement, then clearly, you might be in a timeline where in your life where things are just feeling like things are not feeling fully. I almost did this, not that. You might be feeling like that. No. You might be feeling like you're missing a puzzle piece. A puzzle piece. Or that something just feels like off, and especially when it comes to relationships. I grew up in a really small town, and I feel like I have always felt like a little bit of a black sheep, and I hate using that word because I think it's one thing to analyze on things. It's another to fully take it on as an identity and make it your whole like being. I think I've always just saying that, I think I've always been a little bit of a black sheep in my family, in certain social groups. And for so long, I've just kind of seen that as a negative almost. I mean, I still do a lot of the time. It's still definitely a work in progress. But I have just been thinking about how loneliness is actually a gift. And, loneliness reveals the depth in our hearts. And loneliness really shows us what we are craving, what we are needing, what we are missing in life. And I think it's so easy to just immediately fill ourselves with company, because we're so eager to not be alone, right? Like our soul. And you know what? Also, I want to say, I think there's a group of sped people walking by. Sorry. I don't know if that's offensive. Just they're sped, so they're yelling. That's okay. They can yell. I can yell too. I think also PSA, it's not, obviously it's not great to be alone, but I think something that's really good about being lonely is it just reveals the depth of our character. And I think I'm going to bring in the Bible. I mean, I'm going to bring in Job, which is kind of insane because I'm saying this. Let's keep in mind that it's me. But Job basically has, if you're unfamiliar with the Bible, and you don't need to be familiar with it, you're good. Job is this character who is, his story mostly revolves, and Christianity is made about suffering, but I think it's so much more than that. Job is a character that has his whole wealth, his identity stripped away from him. And I mean, his family, his children are killed. It's very awful. It's a terrible, terrible situation. And I think that in his loneliness, I mean, in this suffering, because I think suffering is loneliness. Like, loneliness is a suffering thing. Like, it sucks. Like, to suffer, loneliness is a really hard thing, because I think it makes you just feel off, and it makes you feel like you're really missing something, because we are designed to be in community with others. I think the lie that is really told to this generation, and you know what, I'm just going to call it a lie, and it's not even just about like Christianity, it's also just about like us, like confronting truths, is that like we are told to be so individual, right? Like, and I totally get that. You need to know who you are. I'm like bouncing off the walls here with ADHD, but also, I think it's really key that in a society that tells you that you need to be alone, basically, that you need to be individual, I think it's also like the best parts of life, and where I think I've seen this most growth are in community. And I think it's so key for us to know that like we are not designed to just be alone. Like that's not a life worth living. I really do believe that, is that you need people who you belong with. Anyways, I'm going off on so many tangents. My main thing is loneliness is suffering, right? And Job basically is stripped to his core, and it's a test to see if he will still worship God in the end, if he will still praise God. And I mean, he struggles, he fights, but in the end, I think we're really shown his character, right? Like, we are shown his inmost heart. And I think in our loneliness, in our day-to-day, like, I think for me, it's a challenge to see, like, what is my core self stripped down to when there's no one else around, when I don't have a mentor telling me what is right, what is wrong, when I am not having people around me to, like, have joy, like, to laugh with, to be with. Like, what is my core character? Like, is my character, do I immediately revert to depression, anxiety, and forms of, dark stuff, right? Like, I think that's really real, is that, like, what do I reduce myself? What am I reduced to when people are not around, right? Because loneliness either can grow you. I really do believe that, because I really think that there is a season. I know I'm saying all this. I really don't think I'm that smart, like, to be honest, or that theological. But I really do believe that there are seasons in life where you are meant to be alone to show you what you are to your core. And I think something that I have really pulled away from this time in my life is that, to my core, I want to be a joyful person. I don't want to be like a happy person, because I think happiness relies a lot on external circumstances. And my circumstances, I could really complain about it. I could complain about having to still live with my parents, still, like, not knowing what I'm going to do for the future. I could complain so much. And I think this past week was really hard because it was so easy for me to revert to chaos, right? And depression. But I think it's so easy to revert to that darkness. But I think in my loneliness this year, I've really felt like a lesson of, like, joy, right? That I am a joyful person. I want to be a joyful person who is a blessing to others around them. Like, I really struggle with that, but I'm like, my job at the restaurant is to serve people, right? Like, I give you your food, I give you your drinks, and I can make that so routine. I can be so fake to these people. I could totally, and I do have to turn on, like, customer service mode sometimes, but I think something that has been a joy for me is not just being like, hi, welcome to the restaurant. Like, I want my guests to feel like I actually love them. And that sounds insane, but I want my guests to come through the restaurant and feel, and I'm not perfect. I am not perfect. I'm human. But I want people to see that I am a joyful person and that I care for them, even for complete strangers, which sounds insane. But I think that in my loneliness, I have felt, and you know what? All I do is I beg and I plead, and I want to get out of this lonely season, because it is hard. Because even when I'm around people who there is glimpses of, like, community, I still feel alone sometimes. That's the truth, is that even when you find certain community aspects, you might still feel alone at the end of the day. So that's why you need to be okay with being alone. You need to be okay. This is a long ass video, by the way. You need to be okay with being alone, because loneliness reveals who you truly are. I'm going to say it. And I went to see the movies by myself the other day. And I'm like, I'm not a person who's like, I just love doing things alone. Like, I want to do it with people, right? Like, I want to do it with people. But I think just doing these things alone and learning who I am alone has given me a greater breadth and width to pull to be with other people. Does that make sense? Being alone has made me a better person when I'm around people, because I am so much more grateful for being around people. And it also just makes me so much more happy to be around people when I do get the chance to, because it's a gift at the end of the day. Anyways, this is such a long video, but loneliness is a gift. And that sounds stupid, but yeah, loneliness is a gift. I really do believe that. And anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm about to hit the gym, and I'm really excited because today's going to be a great day. And I also have a cookie. Anyways, I'm about to pound back this cookie. So have a great rest of your day.